All right, this is the final. This is part two. Let's see. This is part two. Yeah, so stay tuned next year. I'll make a video about SkySource. More about the Zayas project, the Zayas movie project. I'll do a more in-depth video about the 5 years. Whereas my last video I made like a week ago, I only covered the first year and a bit of the second year. I'm also going to talk about the Bible. What the Bible really means about Jesus' holy nature. It's talking about his DNA. His deeds has a part to play, but it's talking mainly about his DNA, obviously. Jesus has a holy nature of the Father. He's the Son of God, obviously. He's actually the Son of God. It's not some gobbledygook, whereby it's a spiritual title. He was there outside the Father. No, like he was born from the Father in eternity. That's why he came down to earth to make those born again. Jesus says, when you're born again, you're regenerated. You're born of spirit. Just like Jesus was born of spirit, he came out to earth to make all those children of God too, born of spirit and water. And then when those who are born again, they believe in Jesus, they now become the Father's children, spiritual children. It's like Jesus is the Father's spiritual son. You see the connection there? Yeah, that's my point. Ivan, how do you see the Trinity? The way I see the Trinity is the Father is the source of the nature of the Godhead, obviously. He's the Father. The Son was born from that nature, from that source, obviously. And because Jesus has the genes of the Father, everything the Father is, Jesus is also, obviously. The Father is God, Jesus is also God. He's eternal, Jesus is also eternal. He passed down his genes to Jesus, obviously. And the Holy Spirit is a spirit that proceeds forth from the Father and the Son. And because it proceeds forth from the Father and the Son, it also has the gene, the God gene. The Holy Spirit and the Son can do exactly what the Father can do because they have the same gene, the same nature. Hence why they are one. They make up the one family tree that is God, the same DNA, but more than one person. And they work together intimately, Sarah. Because they're one God, obviously, Sarah. Did you guys see the picture? Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, am I right, Sam? I mean, that's accurate. Yeah, that's how I see the Trinity, obviously. I'm going to delve in depth, man. When you read the... before I shut the camera here, when you read the New King James and King James, it says in John, obviously, it says in the bosom of the Father. When you read the other translations like NIV, it says in the close relation of the Father. They change it, man, because I think the Bible translators are scared to admit that Jesus was born because they don't want to tackle that topic. Obviously, they're scared of the backlash from the church, from the Jehovah's Witnesses, from the Muslims. You know, so they're scared of that. Hence why they do their very best to what. To portray Jesus there side by side with the Father always. I believe Jesus was side by side with the Father, but he was born first. He's the Son of the eternal begotten Son of God. He was born. Begotten. Begotten made, not begotten, not made. Sarah? Begotten made, not begotten, not made. Obviously. Sarah? I'll talk about that, obviously. Jesus said in that passage in John, just like the Father has life in himself, he has granted the Son to have life in himself also. Jesus said the Father granted me the source of life. He gave me life, yeah. Because the Father is the source of life, he passed that source of life that he has, he passed it down to Jesus. Jesus is bragging. Yeah, the Father passed down the genes of himself to me. He's bragging on us. That's what the Jews want to kill him, obviously. Because Jesus was, throughout the Gospels, is bragging. He's saying he can do whatever he sees the Father doing. What does that mean? He claims that the Father granted him the source of life. The source of life my Father has, he gave that to me. He passed it down. I have a source of life that in me too. Yeah, he passed it down the genes. That's what Jesus is saying. When Jesus says granted me life, he's talking about the gene. He gave me that gene that he has, obviously. So, Sarah, that's why I see it, obviously. Throughout the New Testament, Jesus is saying how Jesus always says the Father has given the Son authority and all, so given the Son authority. See, if Jesus is there side by side with the Father the whole time, these passages don't really make any sense. A lot of Trinitarians have to try to find ways to tap dance around the passage by saying that Jesus took upon the form of a servant and all stuff while on earth. I agree with that, but you can't get around the fact that Jesus is God. Before he became flesh, he was with the Father. Why is Jesus saying that the Father has granted me all this stuff? You know what I'm saying? He's given me authority and all stuff because he's the son, he's the heir. So I'm saying, if he's born, these passages make more sense. If he's not born, you have to find ways to tap down around these passages by saying it's hyperbolic speech and all that stuff. Yeah, when Jesus says the Father has given me authority, Jesus was exaggerating there. It's hyperbolic speech. He always had authority. He's speaking hyperbole. I don't think so, man. I think Jesus is being literal. No, the Father is given me authority because I'm the heir. Just like a prince is given authority by the king, right? The Father gave Jesus the authority because Jesus is the heir. He's the heir born, the eternal begotten Son born from the Father. Throughout the New Testament, Jesus says he came forth from God. People say, no, it means he came from heaven. I agree, but he's being literal here. I came forth from the Father. Jesus came from the Father. Yeah, he's the eternal begotten Son born of God. Obviously. I'm also going to ask you Christians this question. Why is Jesus called the Son, and why is the Father called the Father? The Father can't be a Father unless he has a Son, right? And the Son can't be a Son unless he has a Father. I know, Jesus is a Son, but he wasn't born. So him being the Son is his spiritual title. He's not really the Son. No, Jesus is the literal begotten Son of God. He was born of spirits in eternity past. Sarah? My guess is Jesus was born of spirit and water, obviously. Because when you read the Bible, in the beginning, supposedly in the beginning of creation, water was already present before the world was even created. So there's some evidence to suggest that Jesus was born of spirit and of water. Because before God created the universe, water was already there on the earth. So in some sense, water was there before creation, right? Yeah, before the creation of the universe. My guess is Jesus was born of spirit and of water. The eternity past. That's my theory on it. I don't want to read too much in the Bible, but I think Jesus was probably born of spirit and of water. Sarah? Obviously. When you read the New Testament, Jesus says, I am the living water. I am the living water. Jesus said that. So I think there's some evidence to suggest that Jesus was probably born of the spirit of water. Hence why when he came down to earth, those who are born again have to be baptized in water and of spirit. Yeah, it's symbolism there. Sarah? That's why you know your shit. Yes, no, my shit. I don't want to read too much into that passage. That's just a theory that I have. You know what I'm saying? To all you Christians, I don't want to read too much into it. But I think that's probably what the Bible teaches. Sarah? Yeah. Anyway, stay tuned for those videos next year, guys. And those videos, I don't remember how please talk to you guys. Bye. I'm tired.